Hey guys, I hope you're able to hear me through all of this heavy rain that we're having here in Port Shepstone. It looks like we're in for another flooding time. It's been incredible the last few days, but we're grateful. It's good to be with you today. Thank you for joining me. We're on this journey through this issue of forgiveness. We're talking about what it means to forgive well. We've spoken about what not to do. We've spoken about the slide of forgiveness. We've spoken about putting a full stop at the end of the sentence where many people would put a comma. Go back and you'll pick up on so much information that we've been sharing of late with regard to what it means to really forgive. When Jesus said forgive 70 times 7, he wasn't giving you a numerical number to work towards. He was giving you a principle of forgiveness under every circumstance, all the time, to anybody, at any opportunity. Now, one of the hardest people to forgive is yourself. For you to forgive yourself is a whole new ball game of learning what it means to trust God's sovereignty, to trust faith, and to be able to do that which you need to do in order to be able to move on. But as I was reading, I found that there are so many different examples of people who had to get over themselves in order to continue to be used of God. I want to take you today and maybe the next couple of days through a couple of these people, and hopefully we'll learn what it means about the wonder of the intentionality and the purpose of God's forgiveness is that you will pick yourself up, dust yourself off from your failure, and get on with the job that He's called you to. Let me begin in the book of John, and it's John chapter 21, and it's the account of Jesus forgiving Peter. Remember, Peter had denied Jesus, or the knowledge of Jesus, there at the fire. He was embarrassed that by a young servant girl who came and said, "Hey, don't you know this guy, Jesus? You talk like him. You're also from Galilee. Surely you must know him." And Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Not once, twice, 3 times. He felt terrible about it. It says he went out and he wept and he cried bitterly over his failure. A couple of days later, he says to the disciples, "Hey, let's go fishing." They go fishing. They couldn't catch anything. Jesus appears on the seashore. Go and read the story. It's awesome. And invites them to breakfast. They have a great catch under Jesus' instruction. Bring some fish. And Jesus is looking at Peter. And Peter is looking at Jesus and saying, "Yep, well, I'm in for a hiding right now. He's going to give me such a hard time over what I did." I don't blame him. If I said I loved him and I denied him, what kind of love is that? Anyway, they have a conversation at the seashore, which goes something like this. Jesus said to them, "Come and have breakfast." None of the disciples dared to ask him, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Lord. And Jesus came, took the bread, gave it to them, and he did the same with the fish. This was now the 3rd time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he had raised from the dead. When he had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you truly love me more than these?" Meaning the other disciples. "Yes, Lord," he said, "you know that I love you." And Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you truly love me?" And he answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The 3rd time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him a 3rd time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." And Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." Now, we've often spoken and I've preached about the wonder of God's forgiveness, His unconditional forgiveness for people who fail. But that's only half the story. You see, with forgiveness comes a whole new start-up. With forgiveness, and forgiveness primarily in this story of yourself, there's got to be a whole lot of new stuff that begins to take place. Because you can't just sit there, licking your wounds after your failure. Jesus said, "Get up and continue to do something for the kingdom." This is a great example. He says to Peter, "Do you love me?" Peter said, "Yeah, Lord, you know I love you, but I can't love you like you want me to say I love you. I love you kind of halfway there. And Jesus said, well, feed my sheep, feed my lambs, feed my people. And in that feeding instruction, Jesus is saying to Peter, Peter, you've been forgiven. You do know that, Peter. Now I want you to pick yourself up, get back in the game. I want you to get back in the game. You've been forgiven. Get back and feed my sheep. Now that is a sermon all on its own, what feeding the sheep is all about, but that's not what I'm talking to you about today. I'm just intrigued that so soon after a failure, a dismal failure, 3 times denying Jesus, he gets to get back in the game again. Now, a number of times I have used the example that we play of a game in South Africa called rugby. And when you infringe or when you do something that you shouldn't do, the referee is entitled to give you what we call a yellow card, which means you're out of the game for 10 minutes. You're going to sit in what they call the sin, but the parallels are amazing. And then if you do something really bad, then the referee can red card you and you're out of the game and out of a few more games after that. It's the ultimate penalty you have to pay for your infringement. But here we see Jesus saying to Peter so soon after his infringement, I need you to get back in the game. You've sat in the sin bin of guilt and shame for a little while. Now it's time to get out of there and get back in the game again. The intriguing thing is, people, is that God never gives red cards. He never gives anybody a red card. He'll give some people a yellow card and say, listen, you may need to sit out of the game for a while, contemplate the consequence of what you've done, but I want you back in the game. I never write anybody off. And I just love that about God. He doesn't write anybody off. Just because you sin, I'm not condoning sin in any which way at all. But I am saying, recognize your humanity. And please, people, learn to forgive yourself. It's the toughest, highest order of forgiveness when you forgive yourself. Sometimes just for being human. Sometimes for messing up. Sometimes for crossing certain lines that God told you not to cross. But you don't need to stay there. God will give you a yellow card maybe and say, just think about this for a while. But there comes a time when he says, please, get out of your guilt, get out of your shame, get off the chair of sin, the sin bin chair, and get back in the game again. Maybe today, people, you have done that. Maybe you have infringed and you feel that God said, no, that wasn't a cool move. I need a yellow card you, but it's only a yellow card. He never red cards anybody. There will come a time where he says, get back in the game again. Peter, do you love me? That's forgiveness. Peter, feed my sheep. That means get back on the field, get back into the work of the kingdom, and don't sit in isolation for too long. I hope you get the meaning of that. It's huge, people. Have a good day. Bye-bye.